A woman will always have options, especially if the woman is beautiful. And this is something that you could easily observe when you go out in public, meet a bunch of people, and you always notice how the beautiful woman will always get a man's attention. And as much as I want to say same thing could be said with a good-looking guy, the problem is that the sexual market value (SMV) is very different. A woman will always, by default, will always have a higher sexual market value than a man. A man, his sexual market value is entirely up to how he conducts himself, of what he does in his life, what's his social status, and most importantly, how public he is. But a woman, all she needs is her beauty. And of course, if she decides to, and if she wants to, if she throw herself out there in the public, of course, a lot of men will, not only see her, but they will definitely be attracted to her, kind of like a gravitational pull. And when it comes, for me, talking about the sexes and sexuality itself, it is hard for me to discuss about these topics because, for one, I'm not an expert, and two, I rather leave this type of discussion talk to the experts. But I'll make sure every time when I talk about sexuality in my YouTube channel, I'll leave sources behind or sources and examples just to make a point what I'm trying to say. Because one thing that I acknowledge, guys, and this is a very hard pill to swallow, is that no matter what, sexuality in itself will always play a huge part of our lives. Even if we don't like to admit it, it will sexuality will play a huge part of your life and how you develop as an individual. And it's definitely a no-brainer that men and women are built differently. We're very different. That's why I enjoy the philosophy of the yin yang. Yang being the male and yin being the female. We're very different, but we're meant to complement to each other. And sadly, one of the dark truth, the truth that's very hard for me to swallow, is that a woman has a superior sexual market value over a man. And at the same time, because of her higher SMB, she will always have option. And the more beautiful she is, the more attractive, youthful, fertile she is, the more men that will come to her. And I've seen this multiple times when I'm out there being social. To give you a good example, a little acnoid, I knew this woman who she is a foreigner. She speaks multiple language, and she works as a waiter. At that time when I got to know her, she kind of worked multiple jobs at part-time jobs as waiters. And sadly, she recently broke up at the time when I was getting to know her with a guy who supposedly is from Europe. And it's very telling that she was devastated by it. But one thing that I noticed about her, and it's an obvious noticing about her, is her attractive figure. The woman was well built, and goes through. She does a good job at maintaining herself. She hits the gym. She uses a lot of cream, a little makeup here and there, but overall she maintains a nice figure, nice health. And because of that, whenever she does her waiter job, I've noticed how the customers they flirt with her, and it's astonishing how frequent I keep seeing that. It's almost as if this is like a natural thing, and I hate to say it, it is a natural thing. Just like this picture you see right here, this woman is beautiful, and it's a natural thing for multiple guys to confront her and try to please her to get her attention. And just like the waiter that I knew, a lot of customers, they were basically wooing at her, trying to get her attention. But anyway, enough of that. The reason why I'm talking about this story is because this is kind of like a obvious testimony that you see throughout society. The woman, because of her higher sexual market value, will always have options. And I'm gonna try my best to find this video, but I remember watching a psychology video and a social it's both a psychology and a social analysis video of who gets the most attention from the opposite gender. And they also included the rating of looks. So from not so good looking all the way to good looking, they they made experiments from both genders, and they used three people from each gender. The first one is, not so good looking. The second one is average looking, and the third one is very good looking. And sadly, what that social experiment, resulted is that the good looking man could barely receive attention in social media in comparison with an average woman. And I say the word barely. Meanwhile, the good looking woman, she gets 3 times as much social media attention than the good looking man. And the not so good looking woman uh, still makes more, you know, still receive more attention than the average looking man, and it's almost as twice as much. So that's very, astonishing to discover. If I do find that video, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description below. But the whole point of this video, guys, is that the woman, well, especially the beautiful woman, they will always have options. Us men, we don't have that luxury. Us men, we have to do something. And I've been around not just the red pill community, I also been around with the MGTOW community and the black pill community. And there was a old saying that women are human beings while men are human doing. And always remember that. This is something that I personally am gonna remember, that old saying. And just to show you proof, guys, where I got this picture, I basically got this picture from a tweet. And I'll show you the tweet. So in this tweet right here, it says, try and please her and you'll push her away. Please yourself and she wants to please you. So, going back what I just said, the woman will always have option. And because of that, the woman is able to afford to become very passive. And when I was learning about the yin yang philosophy, the yin yang also included the gender, the yang being male and the yin being female. The yang is always described as being active, while the yin, is always described being passive. The woman is able to afford being passive. Why? Because the options of her attracting mates will always be there. But the man cannot be passive. The man has to be active. And just like that tweet that I just showed you, the man needs to please himself through his action, through his work, through his struggle of accomplishing things, through running the race, getting to the finishing line, gathering resource, etc., etc. The man needs to be active, and through the man's activity, he will attract the female, and the female, she will be very drawn into the man. And this is something that is hard for me to swallow at first, but at the same time gave me motivation to remind myself of going back to school, trying to find my career, and doing good at my career. So anyway, guys, sorry for this little ramble, and sorry if I'm all over the place. The thing is that I really do wanted to talk about this because, as I stated in the beginning of the video, sexuality plays a huge part of our lives, even if we don't want to admit it. Sorry, guys. Hello, truck drive by. Even if we don't want to admit it, sexuality will play a huge part of your life. And understanding our sexuality, the sexual energy, we will, if we understand it better and we learn how to control it, or at least navigate through it, we'll make better decisions and we'll become, better fulfilled through our lives. So remember, guys, especially my fellow men, always be active, and eventually you will have a beautiful woman with you. Trust me. And have a good day, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And goodbye.